John Rocha, everybody. You got it, Frenchie?
Yeah. I have one job to do. One job to do.
One job.
Hello,
What's
John.
up, everyone? How's it going? How's it going?
Very well, sir. Very well. Welcome
How's it going? Hey, yeah, it's going well. I'm having a good time. Just recovering from watching those matches yesterday. What a great way to kick off season 8 of the Schmodown War, to having two phenomenal matches. I mean, really, Laura Kelly announcing herself as a titan in the Star Wars division again, and then seeing Mara Kanapa come off of a 2-year layoff to wipe the floor with Chandru. What an incredible way to start it. And of course, because it's the Schmodown, drama.
Ooh,
so loving it all, man. Loving it all.
Yeah, and we were just talking about that drama, and that's actually how I'd like to get started with you here. It's obvious that, well, it's not obvious. Nothing's obvious with Swag right now between Chandru and Winston. Anything could happen. But I got to know, have you and Finstock spoken at all about the possibility of looking to pick up Chandru in a trade with Winston?
Listen, if you listen to Christian Harloff and I on the Stereo app yesterday when we were on there talking about Schmodown, we were predicting, or at least offering our predictions for what we thought was going to happen at the pay-per-view last night. One of the final questions that we talked about was, that he asked me about was, did you guys talk with Chandru? And the answer is yes. Finstock and I and Craig all made a pitch to Chandru. Chandru and I, when he was a guest on my Outlaw Nation show, I held him up afterwards for 30 minutes, and we talked about the possibility. We wanted him to come to us. We wanted him to turn on Winston, do a little NWO stuff, and come and join the dark side with us, and that would have turned us into even more of a massive heel faction. But in the end, his loyalty lied with Winston. Well, I said to him, don't be surprised if your first season with him doesn't mirror your second season with him. And already we start with a loss, and we start with this drama between Winston and Chandru. So for us on the Finstock Exchange, we're incredibly happy with the rookies we picked up, but we'd also be foolish not to consider the possibility of seeing a little bit of red meat and a little bit of division, and maybe coming in there and talking with Chandru about it and maybe gauging his feelings about the situation. So, I mean, Chandru and I have a healthy respect for each other. So who knows? Who knows?
Now piggybacking off that a little bit. You guys do have a lot of rookies, and
we do.
Finstock talk about, your process. It wasn't just willy-nilly picking people at random. But I'm curious, was at least a part of the thought process behind drafting so many rookies, was any of it have to do with possible multiple people to trade for maybe higher caliber players like a Chandru or something? Was that ever in the mix?
No, in fact, I should climb through this thing and slap you in the face for even suggesting that. We love. No, don't apologize. Okay, I appreciate the speculation. I know you got a job to do, but my job is to respond to what you said. We love our rookies. We have had such a great time with our rookies, plus Taylor Robinson. Let's have some respect on Taylor Robinson's name. She is not a rookie. She has played in this league before. She has watched this league for years and been a fan of it. And so all of us were very diligent in doing our research. Craig, Finstock and I sent Craig out as our scout. Go find the diamonds in the rough. Go find these people that no one's going to see coming, and get us on board with them. Did incredible amount of research, as we said, and we spoke with them, talked with them, had separate meetings with them. And ever since we've selected them, we haven't felt one second of regret about anybody we've selected. We've been active, talking with each other, quizzing each other. We just had a faction free-for-all. I'm not going to tell you who won that. We've competed in matches against each other. All of that, it's really brought the team very strongly together. So the last thing we're looking at is using them as trade pieces. Absolutely not. Our job is to build these men and women into the new titans of the game. But like I said, the Chandru situation is something that we might take a look at. If it works for us to make a move or two here, maybe. Nothing's ever off the table. It's about winning that faction title, but we feel very confident with the team we have.
Now, going on that, I have less of a question and more of a statement. Like I said, my message yesterday.
Yeah.
A lot of people have been making fun of me, Jay Wade, about my support of Finstock, and he almost had a.
Now I should really slap him. All right, yeah, go ahead, French.
But he almost had aneurysm when we were on French's corner, and my question was who won the draft, and I actually picked you guys because I understood the philosophy you're going. The system. I'm a systems guy.
Yeah.
Like at my work, I have a lot of people who has years and years of experience, and sometimes I'll choose that person who have no experience because you have the heart and you have the open mindedness of working with my system and not what should be preconceived. So I just want to say that I can't wait for you to kick some ass, and like you said, let the people complain, let the people naysay you. I can't wait for you to destroy this season, my friend.
Yeah, I mean, I think we have a lot of confidence, as I said, in our rookies. We like what we've seen so far. We had a couple of our Star Wars players playing along with the match last night. And let me just say, they did really, really well. And so those things kind of give us confidence. A couple of our G players played with the game, played along with the game last night. One of them got every single question right. So those are those things that we have a lot of confidence in the people we have under our tutelage. And I tell you what, we also went this route because we didn't want the drama that you see happening coming out of this thing. Look, Laura Kelly and I co-host a podcast together, The Jedi Way on the Outlaw Nation. I love hosting shows with her. She's very knowledgeable about Star Wars. And we had the opportunity to take Laura at the number 5 slot. But we know where her heart was. And certainly you saw it last night, wearing that corruption shirt, doing what she did. She certainly still has her ties and her connections there. And we didn't want that stuff to get in the way of what we wanted to do this season in the Finstock Exchange. No drama. Last year was all drama in the Finstock Exchange. It wore Craig and me and Tom to a nub, and we got rid of that drama and focused on bringing in some great rookies and Taylor Robinson to get them in the right mindset to bring home the gold and bring home the faction championship. Let other people deal with the drama. We're focusing on winning matches.
And we're really sorry about this. We had to bring in your number one not fan back, which is Daniel, with the Corruption Show, which he had the cojones the first time speaking to be like, I'm not a fan. So we're really sorry about this. It just ended up being like this.
It's okay. Someday he'll get real wood for his walls. But all right, go ahead, Daniel. What's your Come on.
This actually is real wood. This house is like 200 years old.
It looks like it. Anyway, yeah, go ahead. You got a question?
Actually, that's next, actually.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so, John, you may not know this, but I actually worked on Trivia SD for the year. And I want to thank you for shouting out my article, The Horseman Curse.
It was great.
Yeah. So my question is simply, what was your reaction when you first saw that article, and what was your reaction afterward?
Well, refresh my memory, because of course I read so many things. Tell me, Double D, what was the genesis of the main point of your article?
Okay, so the main point was that basically the Horsemen won matches, but they kept losing like the next title match. They just kept losing belts, yada yada yada. And again, the main idea is that basically all the people that have been associated with the Horsemen, like Bibbs and Robert Meyer Burnett, even though they left, they were still part of the curse. And basically the end part was maybe it was Tom's mask that was the curse. And that was the big M. Night Shyamalan twist. And when I told Tom that at Star Wars Celebration, he was like, oh, I love that theory. And I'm like, oh, I gotta know what Rocha said. I thought you were gonna be there, but unfortunately you weren't. So I always wanted to know what was your reaction to that article.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was a good article and some valid points being brought up. Look, sometimes when people bring up the Horseman Curse, I get real angry with that kind of crap, because you've seen people in other teams lose belts and lose matches all the time. It's just because we aligned ourselves and called ourselves the Horsemen, we became the target of everyone's ire and everyone's focus. And so that's what you got. So we got a lot of crap for that. But, they flourished with us, and then they fell apart without us, and then flourished again. It's all a journey for sure. But Tom Finstock has been, I mean, it's been a revelation for me to be managed by Tom coming into this year. Like last year, we had our battles, we had to figure things out. But this year, I really like this idea, and I love the JTE's on the team. I love that all stuff is happening for us. So I enjoy that we don't have a horseman anymore just yet necessarily, but we have a potential to have a stable of horses that will be able to ride for quite some time. And I can't wait to see what we build out from there. And people can forget about the horseman curse. And to be honest with you, maybe the horsemen are dead and gone forever. We shall see, because the game has changed, the Schmodown has changed, and all this kind of stuff of, a small amount of people or whatever, maybe all of that has moved on, as well as we've embraced factions. And I think this is the way going forward. So the Schmodown, the horsemen were great for their time, and we did win belts, and we did shock the world. And if you watch Call to Action, the reveal of the 5 horsemen was the #1 moment ever in the history of the Schmodown. We've left our legacy. We've left our mark. So if people want to, take their shots, let them take their shots. They never achieved a goddamn thing in this league like we did. So they can kiss my ass, both cheeks. So there you go. That's my honest opinion.
To kind of like, I wanted to say this one thing.
Yeah.
When I started that article, when I saw that when Bibbs pitched it, I knew you were going to like, oh, Bibbs' team, they're biased. They're biased.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how do I turn this around on Rocha? And that's why I included Bibbs in the curse as well. So,
yeah.
Just to get some reaction, like, maybe I do have a curse.
Bibbs and I are in a better place, but at that time, certainly, I wanted to eviscerate him for sure.
So,
all right, who's next?
Yeah, my question is about the horsemen as well, but slightly differently. Well, no, it's just because you were adamant about not letting Tom Dagnino into the horsemen, and especially to a degree Ben Bateman as well. And I agree with you on that front. But once everybody had come to you and convinced you to go with Tom, you are now the only person left with him. What is it that Bobby Finstock has done that convinces someone to follow him when, like, you were so against it, and now you're the only soldier left?
Well, sometimes, I would frame it differently.
And Barbarian as well.
Right, but I would frame it differently. We're not left. We are the soldiers who endured and who thrived under Finstock's management. So many people say that I played my best Schmodown I've ever played last year, even though I didn't win a majority of my matches. Nobody can have an issue with how I played the game last year. And a lot of that was under Tom's tutelage, getting us focused. He's just calm confidence in matches. You don't see him dancing around like a fool. You don't see him making it about, putting on crowns and doing all that stuff. Yeah, he takes his shirt off and he makes his statements, but he's very calm under pressure, man. And that's what I gravitated to, getting to know him and seeing him. And then the off season, before the season ended, the conversations we had about Dan, he was the one that came to me. He was like, dude, I think we got to consider this situation. Now, at first I was like, you're insane. No. And he said, look, I think you're not the full outlaw when you're with Dan. And so those are the conversations. He understood the bigger picture. I was too caught up in the smaller picture, which was winning matches. He was looking at the bigger picture. And once he got me out of that, I was able to see where we were going. We had to get rid of Ben Bateman and the dead weight. His shifting loyalties will never end for Ben. Wherever he can win, that's where he'll go. Trust me, if he loses the first 2 matches under the tutelage of Kaiser, and we saw, we'll see what happens. But look, if he loses the first 2 matches on the tutelage of Kaiser, I guarantee you he's going to start having conversations. He's going to start making little allusions on his show, just like he did when he choked away 2 title shots. Did he blame himself? No, he blamed the questions. He blamed Tom. He blamed everybody. I think he blamed his gardener the other day. He blamed anybody but himself. And that's what you get with Ben the Boss Bateman. Dan Murrell made me too soft, which is what Tom brought to my attention when I realized that I had to go. And that's what makes him a great manager. He's looking at the larger picture, not just the small stuff. And let all the other managers make their cracks. They can kiss my ass. My man takes care of business. He's a 6-time manager of the year. I don't see any of their one-year wonders with 6-time manager of the years on their resume. Go ahead.
Now you did touch a bit about it, but I want to look a bit in projection in the future. If ever or whenever you become a manager and you go into different areas of Schmodown, what is the greatest lesson you think you're going to take away from being managed by Finstock?
That's a great question. I think the greatest lesson is always the preaching of calmness, of patience, and overriding self-confidence. This is something now, having Finstock and JTE, the old school Lion's Den. Remember those gentlemen? Just as much people talk about the Horsemen, people talk about the Lion's Den. Finstock was an essential part of the Patriots they defended the championship 9 times, I think. Is that correct? Was it 6 times? Sorry, 6 times they defended the championship. And Tom was an essential part of them doing that because Tom gave them an overwhelming sense of self-confidence. Do you know what I'm saying? And Tom tried to get through to me all year last year to have me embrace that, but it's something I'm always afraid of because of the karma of the game. But having both JT and Tom involved in it, that has reawoken this kind of belief in myself that I think a little bit was missing when I was playing even last year. And Tom has done this. So that's the thing. I think one of the big lessons I would pass on from my tutelage with Tom is this: you have to have this overwhelming sense of belief in yourself, because that's what's going to carry you through the tough moments and the tough situations. If Ben had that in those title shots and remembered that lesson, maybe Ben would have pulled it out against Dan. And it looked like Dan certainly had to stumble his way to those victories because he had kind of lost a little bit of that self-confidence in those moments as well. So that's the thing that I would definitely pass on. Believe in yourself above everything else, because everyone else will fall away. But if you have strength in yourself, it'll navigate you in those tough moments when it seems like everything else is against you. Take that in your pipe, Daniel. Put that in your pipe.
No, I do agree with most of that, so I can't fault you one bit.
To your credit, I did a normal distribution on all the teams, all the divisions, and top 10's average is higher than the Founding Fathers, and the Founding Fathers are actually in the next tier. So I would say that maybe Tom is better for you as a manager. There's an argument that maybe Dan kind of helped you as well, but obviously I'm going to take your word over my numbers. Because
Jay, wait, before you go to your point, might as well bring up the graphic just to show him, because it is a freaking
it's the teams one.
Okay.
So the top 10 it averages 25 points, and that's in the above average category. Founding Fathers is in that superior category. It's 29.2, but it's in there.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, Deep 13 at 34 points.
But that's the averages, because
how many matches have they played? 2.
Two.
Shouldn't even be considered. It's 5 matches and a month.
A match.
Hey, you want to know another one? John Campia is in the superior on Star Wars. He's played 1 match.
That shouldn't count at all. It should be 5 matches.
It's the numbers. It's the numbers.
I know. But it's also how you set up the survey. Anyway, go ahead. Sorry, Jay Wade. Go ahead, man.
No, you're good. You're good. I wanted to get your thought on something. Before I ask that real quick, though, this once again for our viewers on YouTube, this is also our debut on stereo. That's right. This show is on stereo right now, not just 2 people, everybody. Wow. So if you want to listen to us on stereo, which is really when I did this show, started it, I intended it to be like a radio sports talk show. So if you like that kind of stuff, stereo is a good place. Again, we will be playing some comments here in a little bit. But that out of the way, Rocha, I was wondering, because I have a theory here. We talked a little bit earlier. We all know that Laura Kelly isn't enthused about playing for Winston. We know that Jericho has made his feelings known.
Right.
But I have a theory. Well, maybe not a theory, but I think I think that Kaiser is going to win over Jericho, and that he will end up playing matches for the dungeon this season.
Wow.
What do you think about that? Do you think Kaiser can pull it off?
I think Kaiser's old school Bobby Heenan WWF before they became WWE type of guy. But Jericho is not a WWF guy. Jericho is a modern guy. He was essential in the WCW Cruiserweight division. He's been incredible over the years in the WWE. He was incredible in NJPW. He's doing great work again in AEW. And this guy's a modern guy. I don't think Kaiser necessarily has the tools to bring Jericho in and build confidence that into Jericho to put his fate in the Schmoedown in his hands. And I'll tell you why. If you've got a spotlight lover like Ben Bateman on your team, you've got Dan Murrow, which you've got to navigate and help to get back to his prominence. You've got Mara, who just won the stuff. What time? And you've got Robert Parker. What time do you have to spend on Jericho? All these four people need so much of your time. Jericho is a singular entity that you need to focus on a lot to get the best out of him, and also for him to feel like he is important to your faction. He's not, you don't have to stroke his ego. It's more of like, you got to show that you're willing to be there at a moment's notice for a guy like that if he needs you. And I don't know if Kaiser can spread himself that thin because of all the needs that his faction's top four players in his faction already have. So do I think it's possible? Sure. Just like Kevin Costner said in JFK, an elephant can hang off a mountain with its tail tied to a daisy, according to physics. But the reality is that wouldn't happen, just like I think the reality is Kaiser eventually will trade Jericho or will let Jericho go to Roxy. But if he's smart, he'll make a trade with Roxy and the Stars. Because, I mean, Jericho will, it seems like, will only play for Roxy. Yeah.
Rocha, we got about 15 minutes left in the show. Would you want to stick around and take some of these stereo messages?
Yeah, sure. If you want me to.
You want to hear something funny? The mic wasn't on that whole time.
No way.
Yeah, for real.
Oh, wow.
So smooth.